Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs. And we were touring around our weird virtual world. I mean, air quotes around that, but I still think that that's what's going on. And we ended up at the school, so this is where we're gonna pick up, continuing our investigation. This place really is a school, and it resembles my high school. Again, that's sus. I feel like at this point everything is, and I don't need to say that, but I'm gonna keep saying it. I wonder if it was the school that was used for the last drama. I don't know if it's because it's summer vacation, but there's no one here. I should go elsewhere. And that's true, because like the classroom we used in that drama looked exactly like our classroom, but it was like, alright, it's just a generic classroom. But this is our school backdrop. This is the backdrop, so I'm glad she pointed out, it looks like my school. Not, it's a school, and it's like, really? All schools look like this? Because that's a pretty swanky school with its like curved walls and shit. I went to change directions and then saw an unfamiliar building near the school. Buildings around it are different from my school, but I've never seen anything like it before. What was that? Oh, this is abandoned. That, what the hell was that? Was a sound like outside, probably construction behind my house, but it was just sounded like a freaking woodpecker or something crazy. I was like, what the hell? Anyway. Excuse me. I peeked inside and see that the inside looked like a storage facility. It was dark, and the sound of opening the door echoed. I mean, this is like really kind of messed up. It's interesting if this is a virtual reality world, why this exists. I tried to let my eyes get used to the dark, and then I saw a big door deeper inside. Storage could go further in. Anything else, so I should go. But it's interesting that we notice that, you know what I mean? Go to the other park. We'll do the lodgings like last. Ooh, this one's pretty. And she just said, wow, this park is pretty. It really is. Look, okay, I'm sorry. If we don't have a romantic, like, date here in one of these dramas, like, could you imagine that? I was like, oh, you just, like, walk down and you go out that little oh my god, that'd be the perfect place for an engagement. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Like, there's a romantic little circle inside of that pond, like, ugh. Beautiful. But anyway, wow, this park is pretty. It really is. Being here does make it feel like I'm in some kind of utopia. I walked around in the comforting scenery, and I noticed someone walking near the trees. Is that Haiji? What's he doing? He's just standing there looking at the trees. Haiji, what are you looking at? Oh, Dana, was it? I'm just not getting used to it. You can call me whatever you like. Oh, really? Then I'll do that. Yeah. We're talking like we're friends, but I forgot to ask about his age. I assume he's about my age. 40. I'm just kidding. I was thinking of that, but then Haiji found some falling leaves and kept chasing after them with his eyes. Like, he's not my type because he has, like, the little adorable baby face, but, like, when his sprite is like this, they give him a kind of pretty face. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right. I think that it's just a majority of time, the front-facing sprites are not their best angle. And then, like, the three-quarter side is, like, always better. And, like, for some reason, they're just drawn, and you're like, well, they're actually kind of, like, he's not my type. He looked like the sweet, innocent sort of baby face. Like, what's his face? The other guy that's, like, definitely got, like, he's older, but he's got the baby face. I don't care if you're 25, you look 12. Like, he kind of also has, like, the little innocent baby face, but, like, on this angle, he's just kind of pretty, so it, like, works better. Okay, nobody front face me. I think there's a few that the front facing is fine. But, like, I feel like three-quarter to side is always the best. We'll see if that change. Well, I mean, like, because some of them I haven't, like, paid enough attention to go, like, no, actually, you're better front-facing. But, like, it's because, like, most of the ones that are front-facing, when I'm like, eh. But I've yet to notice if anybody three-quarter is like, actually, no, your three-quarter's worse than your front. You know what I mean? Anyway. Were you looking at the leaves? I was. Is that weird? It's not that, but I thought you were investigating what's out here. Everyone said that, but I don't know what I'm supposed to look for. Like what buildings are where or what kind of people are here. We want to know where we are. Oh, okay. I'll go check that out then. Yeah, take care. Or the reason why you're not looking is because you don't need to know what's out here because you're the mastermind! Suspicious! Sus! IG seemed to be convinced at that, so he immediately walked off. He seems so mysterious, which could be a good thing or a bad thing for him. Return to the lodging. Okay. I just didn't want, like, originally, like, return to the lodging seemed to be, like it, but I guess, obviously, end exploration, but still. I wanted to save that one to the end. Oh, Yobu? Like, he's not too bad front-facing. You know what I mean? Like, he's fine. I don't see any problems with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of them are like, eh. But, like, now I don't remember because you don't have, like, front-facing is not, like, seriously don't. That, you know what I mean? Like, Tomose and Haiji there, it's like, front-facing, you're like, eh. Then they do, like, three-quarter, and it's like, oh, that's much better. But, like, Yobu and some of the other ones, it's like, oh, I don't really mind you front-facing, so I guess I haven't noticed the drastic difference of, like, oh, yeah, no, three-quarters way better. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. Like, the ones that I notice front-facing, I'm like, no. That's when I notice the drastic difference, but the rest of them are... I mean, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Like, some of them are fine, but anyway. I just... Oh, yeah. You found me. When I returned to the lodging, Gyobu was already there. There's no one else. I found you? You didn't go outside? I thought I was good. What's the point of looking around? Maybe we could find a way out and call for help. I don't think that'd be possible. And, like, honestly, like, this is his, not quite three-quarter, but this honestly is his best sprite. The haughty, snarky, like, slightly, I'm gonna stab you face. You're the most sus because you look like you're the one that's most likely to stab me. Most likely to stab! That's in the yearbook for this. That's you. You're the most likely to stab. Do you have a reason for thinking that? They told us we'd receive an alarm if we leave the living areas. I just don't want to die yet. Oh, I don't want to die just yet. Well, yeah, but... Besides, you came back here anyway. Hey, how about we play a game? And that's what all serial killers start with! He's like fucking Jigsaw up in here. I'm going outside again. Oh, come on. I heard that cry of dissatisfaction from Gyobu as I went back outside. What do I do from here? I guess we end the exploration. I'm leaving! And then we walk right back in, and then he's like, did you just... Maybe going inside and then leaving would have been better, because now we come back in. He's like, you were just standing outside for the last hour, and you're like, yeah, anything to avoid you, I guess. Like, he seems really shady, but that means nothing in this game. The sun started to set after we explored outside for a bit, so we decided it was a good time to come back. I was just here. I guess we should have gone inside first. Akase, that's what it is. He's got, like, the baby face. Like, his giant, innocent eyes, and he's probably, like, one of the oldest. Also, why do you have no chin? So, actually, I think your three-quarter is probably one of the ones that's not the best. Because he literally, his mouth is at the bottom of his face. Like, his proportions are a little off. I know it's just the art style, but I'm just saying. I'm hungry. Akase mumbled that as he was hunched over the table. Everyone was in agreement to that, and was either thinking something or going through the kitchen, or drinking something or going through the kitchen. Now that I think about it, I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. Surprised I lasted so long. See, it's because virtual reality don't need food. Yeah, he's one of the ones where his front profile is almost a little bit better than his three-quarter. Because you don't notice that he doesn't have... I mean, actually, none of them have chins, really. Their mouths are very low on their face. But for some reason, his is more noticeable. Maybe it's because his head looks so giant from his head. Even though their proportions are exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just like... I don't know what it is. Huh. It's not like, you know, oh, his chin proportion is smaller than everybody. They all, like, between the two of them. They're basically, like, their face shape, their positioning of all their features is exactly the same. and they have the same giant head. You know what I mean? But like, Akase it looks different. I think his front facing might be slightly better than his side 3/4, which is interesting. Huh. Anyway. Honestly, though, to be fair, he's not my type, so that's why, like, I'm like, whatever. I'm not like, oh, yours is better, but like, and Haiji's not my type either, but when he did the 3/4, I was like, wow, you actually look a lot better like that. Stay like that and I can handle it. But Akase still always has, like, cutesy baby face. So, like, no matter what angle, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's always cutesy bro dude baby face, which is Akase right here. And then there's, like, the baby face ones that every once in a while you're like, wow, you look really pretty. Huh. They're like the cutesy, but they can cross over into pretty. And I think Haiji kind of does that, where you're like, you're, like, super cutesy. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. When he does the 3/4 profile, it's like, you're actually kind of pretty. Huh. Still not totally into you, don't get me wrong, but less, I don't want to say annoying for me. This is not like the cutesy faces annoy me, but it's like, they're always my least favorite, because again, you look 12, I don't care if you're 30. Like, that's just, it's just a problem for me. So, like, when you kind of go into the slightly pretty, it's like, I find it less weird for me, personally. I guess that's it. I don't know. Anyway. There's supposed to be food in the kitchen, right? I remember they said there's instant food or something. Are you really going to eat it? Do I have a choice? I don't want to starve. Besides, if it's prepared by the director, it won't be poisoned. Probably. The food, huh? I'm sure that's important. Can I ask you to wait a moment? I think Iochi looks good no matter frickin' what position his sprite is in. Or their sprite, sorry. But there's a reason, because you're the most gorgeous fucking thing here. I want to share information before we get all full and fall into a food coma. But then again, we're short one person, Ibana. Iochi fiddled with the bangle, and then everyone received a message to open the attached file. I created a simple map. I was hoping to fill out the blank area based on everyone's information. What do we do about the regions designated as the off-limits sections? I want that too. I need to know at what point the alarm sounds. Iochi put together everyone's information and completed the area map. There were still blanks, but it was a good baseline. Yeah, things are more clear now. The living area the director talked about in this range is a 1 kilometer radius. 1 kilometer? Kilometer? Whatever. And there are numerous facilities and also a small number of other people. But they're... Otherworld people? They speak Japanese, but we're not actually communicating. Right. I wasn't able to converse with them. Well, the buildings itself seem to be made in Japan, but it didn't say the address anywhere. The people living here all called it the Otherworld, too. Otherworld, huh? At the very least, it'll be impossible to go outside of the sector. If we ignore the warning, we're disqualified as the cast. They said that they'll not guarantee our safety then. Are you saying we don't have a choice but to do as we're told by the director? So you know what it is? Because he's like got sad droopy eyes, but then when he's 3/4, it's like kind of pretty. But this is like a borderline creepy. The art style's so bizarre. I mean, I'm not complaining because, like, it is what it is. And it's kind of a fun art style because it's a little different. But because it's so simple, every once in a while they look slightly like Haiji, who looks slightly like you're a little... You know what? He kind of has a cat face, like a slightly creepy cat face. And then he turns side, you're like, actually, you're kind of pretty. It's... I get used to it, but it's bonkers right now. It's like, what the hell's happening? Anyway. Yeah, that's right. Although I hate to admit it. The living room was engulfed in silence. The atmosphere felt heavier the longer nobody said anything. I then heard someone sigh. I can't go home. I don't think we're being rescued either. Considering that, it's only natural that we would all feel down. I remember this scene from somewhere. We were sitting around the living room table. I know. It's when we said goodbye to Kyo. My young sisters and brother all fell down. Unable to stand that atmosphere, I tried my best to act happy. During times like this, I'm always the one to cheer everyone up. I just have to do the same again. Sorry. I itched my eye. Is that it for the sharing of the information we gathered? I suppose. Unless anyone else has something to share. Then how about we eat? Staying hungry will just make us more depressed. If we're tired, we won't come up with any good ideas. Like, look at the hair on this fucker. It's glorious. Also purple. Down with it. If it's simple, I can make something. Although that's assuming there are ingredients. Huh? Seriously? What a way to turn on every single man in this room is by cooking for him. Just saying. Isena, you know how to cook? I have younger siblings, so I'd always make something if they cried about being hungry. But I can't cook anything too complicated. For God's sakes, if you cook them ramen noodles, they'd probably be happy. I'm just saying. Even when you're sick, somebody's like, here, I cooked you instant noodles. You're like, aww. Let's be real. And it's still great. I'll help. It'll be tough making food for this many people. That you can make. Everyone's expressions returned to normal. They even seemed happier than earlier. Also, right, when you're sad sometimes. This is why we all have problems. Like, I'm really depressed. You want some ice cream? Actually, I do. Yeah, that'll make me feel better. Is the food here safe to eat? I'm fine with the instant food. Just shut up for a second. Yeah, if you don't want it, then don't eat it. I announced that I'd check out the kitchen, so I stood up from my seat. Like, Tomose's just gonna, like, die from refusing to eat the food here. Then what if they poisoned it? And if you don't eat, you're gonna die. But if I eat the food, I might die. Tomose in the afterlife would be like, I still stand by my choice to not eat the not poisoned food, because you never know. I mean, we know now, but I don't care. I still stand by my decision, and I would make the same choice again. Like a stubborn little bastard. That was when the missing person, Ibana, returned. See? What did I say when they said someone was missing? Duh. He's always the missing one! Stop it! You can't be the sussest person. I love you. Look, he's adorable. Look at his big floofy hair. And his glasses. All it takes. Oh, and his snarky attitude. Oh, that over-the-shoulder haughty thing is beautiful. Everyone turned to him. He looked as irritated as always as he ignored us to go to his room. See, I feel like he's acting the most suspicious, but if he was the producer, he'd be around us more often. You know what I mean? Instead of always being gone. Like, it looks suspicious that he's always gone. You know what I mean? Like, he went away, he didn't come back, he disappears. But as the producer, you're supposed to be there to monitor people, and if he's always peacing out and never around anyone, what are you really accomplishing, you know? Hold on, Ibana. We were talking about eating together now. Eating? Yeah. Ibana, I'm sure you're hungry. The producer's among us, so how can I eat with you? That statement caused us to freeze up. We tried not to think about it, but if the director was truthful, then the traitor was among us. I really hope it's us. And we just purposely were like, no, what you're going to do is take my memory away so that I think I'm one of them. But, like, the director can see everything that's happening through my eyes. You know what I mean? Because, like, whatever. Like, God, that'd be so amazing. That would be the best twist. You would literally never fucking see that shit coming. Except for I just did, so if that's the case, then I ruined it for everybody. But I also am like, they're probably never going to go that route. You know what I mean? That would be, like, the best one. Because I feel like it would be exactly like right now. I'm like, oh my God, wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah, they would never do that. And then all of a sudden they do that and you're like, I really did not expect them to go there. Huh? There you go again. It's a fact. Being together while knowing the producer is one of you is crazy. You make it sound like you're not. You trust beside yourself. I think everyone here is the enemy. Which makes you sus, but also smart. You're too extreme. Leave me alone. I'm eating in my own room. Considering the previous examples, I was sure the Watcher would provide food if we made the request. That's why Abana's decision wasn't wrong. I became painfully aware of how difficult it was to trust another person. And I guess it can't be helped. Is everyone okay with curry? I think there were ingredients for curry. Potatoes, carrots, onions, and pork. I think there was curry roux, too. There are more ingredients than I thought. Then let's use that to... No, not enough. I thought Abana had gone to his room, but he turned back to interject. Oh my god, are you going to be part of the cooking team? Why do I want to go down the cooking team route first, then? Huh? I won't tell you to make it from raw spice, but what about celery and garlic? Ginger? Are you really not going to use any butter and bay leaves? And if you're hungry right now, why make curry when it'll take so long? You should choose something that can be made faster. Ibana, are you good at cooking? Oh my god. You just got hotter because you can cook! It's not about being good or bad. It's whether you do it or not. It's like your personality changed. You okay, man? Shut up! Not taking curry seriously is blasphemy. Save curry for tomorrow. We'll have Chinese today. They're all like... I fucking love that. He's like, screw you guys, I'm going to my room. Like, I'll make curry. Yeah, we got potato and carrots and stuff. That's fine. He's like, what the fuck did you just say? If you're not gonna do it right, I'll do it myself. I love him so much more now. That was perfectly... We're like, huh, who knew that's the way to get him to socialize with us, is to just ruin curry. We get so mad about cooking. It's fine, we can microwave the water for... How dare you? You will put that water in a kettle on the stove. You're not gonna microwave it. Why am I gonna sit here and wait for water to boil? It takes like 2 minutes in the microwave. Like, Jesus Christ, like, lazy. Alright? Like, so funny. Why are you so into it all of a sudden? You seem to be very particular about it. Then let's make Chinese food. Let's do this, Abana. Under Abana's direction, we started to make Chinese food. I love that he is definitely on the cooking team. That makes me want to go on the cooking team group first, but I'm kind of concerned that, like, what if you were one of the secret characters and we don't get your route right off the bat? But what if we get your route right off the bat, then I'm going to be sad because you're, like, my favorite. So, like, don't want to do that, you know? The 6 dishes that we cooked up were so elaborate that they didn't seem made with just the available ingredients. Wow, this is great. I'm glad we left it to Abana. That actually looks really fucking good for, like, animated food. You know what I mean? Like, fake food. That looks delicious. And, like, fuck, that's a lot of food. It looks good, at least. I like the one Sana made. Are you hitting on me, Dazai? Your cooking is plenty good, so we didn't need him to make it. If you have a problem with it, don't eat it. Damn, I heard that line before. I sampled it earlier and it was delicious. Here's your serving plate. It smells nice. Let's eat. Let's eat. Let's eat. We all started to take a few bites. Most of us remained quiet as we shoveled food into our mouths. Amidst that, I noticed that Akase looked down with his hands against his temples. What's the matter, Akase? You don't like spicy food? No. It's so delicious it hurts. It hurts? I think it's kind of spicy. Oh, right. You don't like spicy stuff, Tomose. This fried rice and stir-fry isn't spicy. Ibona, that's not fair you're racking up friendship points like this here. Well, wait a minute. Did we notice that he had a glove on one hand and not the other? Did we notice that? Or was that a different game? No, that was another. That was Radiant Tail. Okay. But, like, I just noticed. Now, remember, he was trying to grab something, and it was like he went to grab it, and we're like, why didn't he just grab it with his left hand or whatever, or his left whatever? Was he trying to cover for it? And his left hand's the one that's got the glove on it. He's a fucking robot. He's got a robot arm, and he doesn't want us to know. Until I see him in a short sleeve shirt, he is a fucking robot. That explains the fucking attitude. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, that's kind of suspicious, because who wears one glove? Who does that? Okay, if we're in a weird fantasy game or we're in fucking Amnesia, right? Yeah, you're all gonna dress like wackadoodles, but everybody's pretty fucking basic here. Everybody's dressed pretty fucking normie, right? Why do you have a glove on one hand and not the other? And why has no one pointed this out? That is interesting. I'm just saying. Again, if we were dressed like freaking like Hot Topic rejects, like Amnesia, or dressed like circus clowns, like Radiant Tale, where we're actually in a circus, or whatever, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But where else have you seen anyone that is wearing only one glove or is mismatched shit that doesn't dress like some kind of like Hot Topic circus reject? Okay? Like some kind of weird fantasy thing where you're like, everybody's bonkers. When we have a thing where everybody's basically dressed kind of sort of normal, where have you ever, like, could realize Impy's walking around with one fucking arm hanging out of his jumpsuit. What the fuck sense does that make? It's steampunk, okay? Makes sense, fantasy setting. This is a futuristic setting, but we're all dressed normal. That's not normal, Ibana. What's up? Dude? I feel like it ties into the whole, like, oh, he was covering his left arm or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure it was his left. Like, we're like, why didn't he just grab it with his left hand? And he tried to grab it with his right and then dropped it and then whatever. And then, like, but then it seemed fine. But I think it has something to do with why he's wearing a glove. That's interesting. Because otherwise there's really no reason for that. Just for funsies on the Sprite. Because again, then they'd all be dressed like wackadoodles. This is the most wackadoodle thing, and everybody's pretty basic, so. Anyway. Shut up. I'd prefer to have those I'd prefer to have those so-called friendship points be at a negative. This is really delicious. It makes me anticipate the curry. I rarely eat Chinese food, but this is nice. Not bad, Kay. Stop that. Not your friend. And he's so ornery. This relaxed atmosphere seemed to bring us closer together. Especially with Ibana, who hates it. You know what? That's why I love you more. Because everyone's like, you're great, man. They're trying to hug you and you're like, don't touch me. He's like an angry cat. Ibana must have just felt desperate at first. That's why he said those harsh things. No, I think he's literally just an asshole. But I love it. I love when we're like, aw, he loves us. And he's like, I hate you all, and I wish you would all die in a fire. And we're like, aw, we love you too, man. That's why I like the ornery glasses ones. He does have a sharp tongue and is a bit scary. Soon, most of our plates were emptied, and we started to chit-chat. Iochi stood up to go and make some tea. Everyone, I need your attention here. Akaze stopped Iochi by holding up his hand. Yesterday after the closing ceremony, I was going to crack open a nice cold cola and watch a EuroLeague game. You know, soccer. Nothing to brag about, but I was irritated when that got ruined. I hate being forced to do anything. I'm sure everyone's the same. Yeah, I guess you're right. But now we're forced into this other world thing and imprisoned. We'll be forced to play those dramas eventually. It's irritating, but I think that rebelling against it will just put me in danger. Kase continued as he saw nods of agreement among us. That's why I've decided to see the 10 of us here as allies for the time being. Huh? That's something the producer would say, so that we'd stop looking for the producer. Just saying. What is it, guys? Say it with me now. Sus as fuck. I feel like... normally I just put it like, okay, it's whatever, it's Charade Maniacs part whatever, but I feel like I should just start titling every one of these episodes, This is sus as fuck. Starting to get sus as fuck. where the thing is sus as fuck. Woo. I feel like... I'm sorry, I'm just noticing my volume and my voice recording is, like, tripping out here. Hold on a second. I'm going to look because I just noticed that something looks a little off with my microphone, like when I talk. So I don't know if something's happening with my recording software. That would really suck if it was fucked up for like the last 30 minutes, but hold on. Okay, guys. So I'm sorry. There was apparently an update for my capture card, or my graphics software, my recording software, sorry. And it didn't push it out to me. It was only from today, though, so that explains it. But it does take too long sometimes when there's updates for it to come out. I didn't notice. And like I always glance and make sure that it's still capturing and moving, but I didn't notice. It's been off the whole fucking part. So for the last half hour, everything has been completely out of sync. So I'm sorry if you notice that. Obviously I caught it, but like, yeah, it's going to be completely out of sync probably for the first half hour because I will probably forget when I go to process the videos to try to adjust as best I can. Yeah, because I mean, I can probably go in and try to like cut things or edit things and try to make it match up a little bit better. It's going to take forever. But sometimes I don't go in and make sure I'm like, okay, yep, voice is there. Like, just to make sure when Premiere processes my videos, it doesn't cut out sound completely, which it likes to do sometimes. But I might forget, because I got a lot of shit that I got to edit and put together. I might forget that this part I need to try to sit there and line up. So if I do forget and everything, I mean, even if I try to do it, things are going to be a little off. With the syncing, but hopefully it won't be as bad. But if you notice syncing issues in the first half, that's why. So I'm sorry. It's a little fucked up if you're reading along. It's not like we miss CGs or anything like that, but just, bear with me for that 30 minutes, and hopefully now it's fine now that there is an update. Hopefully it's not a continual problem, because if it is, that's going to suck. That means I can't record until this gets fixed. And what the shit? Like, I don't have time for this. So anyway, I'm assuming that's the problem. That's usually what fixes it. But anyway, so we were eating, and what the hell? It took me like 5 minutes to figure this out. Like, oh, right. Akase was telling us we were going to be allies, and hold on, my computer just decided that it needed to blast the music in my ear. At first I thought, because I could see it still moving when I stopped talking, and I was like, is it picking up the sound from my TV? Because, the music gets really loud sometimes in this game, and I was like, is it picking that up? I'm like, nope, it was just, everything was out of sync, so it was totally like, I'm going along in real time, and I would glance down, like, I just usually glance down to make sure that, like, because sometimes the screen recording, it'll just stop, it'll go black, that we've had that problem, so I always watch it. Like, okay, yep, nope, okay, click, yep, okay, it's on the screen that I'm on. But I don't realize that, like, because I'm reading along, I don't realize that, like, it's 2 screens behind where I'm reading. You know what I mean? I can just see it out of the corner of my eye and know that it's at least still recording something. So that's why I didn't notice for a half hour, because I don't read off my computer. Like, so anyway, hopefully it's fine now. So, right, Akase was saying we should all be friends, which is sus as fuck. So again, we should title every single episode, "This is getting sus," or "This guy's sus as fuck," or whatever. But you know what? Just imagine it, because that would be the title if we titled each individual one, but ain't nobody got time for that. Some people do, but I don't. I'm lazy. Which is probably why I won't, like... I will either be lazy and not edit the beginning part to try to, like, fix it, or most likely gonna fucking forget, because I'm not used to that, but we'll see what happens. But, you guys put up and tolerate way too much bullshit for me, where then I can get away with, well, like, the first 30 minutes is, like, out of sync, but, like, you guys will be fine, it's okay, shit happens. I have a lot of other stress in my life, I don't need this, so, whatever. I will try to fix it, but it might just be more trouble than it's worth. But anyway, and again, it's probably going to stay out of sync even if I fix it, no matter what I do. It hopefully will just be not as bad, but... So, we're trying to trust each other. Oh. You were the first to flip out yesterday telling the traitor to name themselves. That's why I'm saying this now. Sorry about that. After saying that, Akase bowed to us. When he looked up, the bold expression was gone and he looked slightly depressed. To be honest, if you ask me if I fully trust you, that's still difficult, but to throw away the trust of 9 people because of one traitor, isn't right. That's why I want to take back what I said yesterday. To doubt someone and to lose the trust of those you can, which will end up making me unable to believe in myself. I don't want that. To doubt someone and to lose the trust of those you can, which will end up making me unable to believe myself. Like, I get it, but that's also a very weird sentence. But anyway. So that's why I decided to think of everyone here as allies for now. Which is exactly what the producer would say. I'm just saying. His gaze was pure. Mysteriously, when I saw those eyes, I felt like things would turn out all right. Bamboozled by the producer. I'm just kidding. My hand was clenched at attention, but it had relaxed without me knowing. I also want to believe in everyone. Even if we just met yesterday, I don't want to be at odds with them. See, like, I'm watching it now and it seems fine, but like 10 minutes from now, it'll get all fucked up. Even if the traitor called the producer is among us. I said this yesterday, but it's possible the producer being among us could be a lie itself. His suspicion is the greatest spice. That's what he said, right? They could be preventing us from working together. I think that reasoning's a bit weak. Right, but I do want everyone to get along a bit better. Also something the producer would say to try to get us to get along with each other. I'm just saying. I'm sus of everyone. I guess you're right. We don't know how long we'll be stuck here, so I don't want us to be hostile. I agree. It's painful to have to always doubt someone. It'll make things terribly awkward. Are you all talking to me? No, that's not what I meant. It was just an opinion. Just saying what came to mind, but absolutely talking to you. It is really weird. Okay, like, what is going on? It almost looks like he's sticking his tongue out a little. It's like, I think it's supposed to be his lip. It's supposed to look almost like he's got a sneer. But it just looks so awkward, like, our right, his left. Like, the little, like, the way they drew his lip, it's almost supposed to be like he's got a little bit of a sneer on his face. But it just looks so awkward. It's like, do you have a little fang tooth, or you're sticking your tongue out a little? Like, slightly odd, but anyway. I also was just saying what I thought. Well, it's a pain to have to argue every step of the way. I have no intention of putting the blame on anyone but the producer guy. Then we can get along! Wait, I didn't say we'll go that far. Oh, we're gonna go real far, sweetie. I love you. You're the producer and you're one of the routes that's locked. I will be okay with that. I don't even care. I knew we could come to an understanding. Let's keep this up, Abana. I like how he's like, I mean, I guess I'll attempt. And we're like, yay, best friends. And he's like, that's not what I said. Best friends forever. Hey, look here. I understand how anyone would have that aloof phase. That's not what it is. Alright, see y'all tomorrow. Let's all work together so we can go back to our original world. We each expressed agreement. Ibana seemed reluctant about it, though. What appeared to be a pitch-black road seemed to have a ray of light now. That's how it felt. Kase's amazing. We're feeling a bit more optimistic now, which is exactly what the producer would want you to feel. It's alright. We can go home if we work hard enough. I have to keep at it without giving up. See, the thing is like they said, like, oh, if you figure out who the producer is, so if we figured out who the producer was right now, we could go home. You're the producer, we could go home. Here's the thing, though. We can't possibly do one route and figure out who the producer is. Are we just going to go home? Well, we have to get enough points. It's one of those, like, you have to stay until XYZ happens. Or, if you can guess who the producer is, you can go right now. You'd get enough points type of a thing, right? So, like, if today we were like, oh, it's Ibana, and it is, woo, we all get to go home and we only had to do 2 things. But if we don't know and we have to suss it out, then we have to go through blah, blah, blah. We get enough points, and then it's like, now we have enough points to go home? Cool, let's go home now. So that's probably what every other generic route, the not locked routes, is going to be like. don't know what's going to happen in the locked routes. Or I would assume that the character 9, I'm using air quotes around that, is supposed to be the producer, which you would probably know potentially either in route 7 or 8. But if you got to 7 and 8, did those, and you have one character left and you haven't figured out the producer, it's pretty easy to do that math. You know what I mean? Which then goes back to the whole idea of, okay, we do the first 3 characters blind, then we start weeding out the other 3 characters that are in that top 6 of definitely not spoilery or plot progression-y. And then at that point, I mean, I think it'd be fine. Then we go, okay, who's 7? Oh, because we might have already figured it out by then, or maybe the game has already told us. You know what I mean? Or in character 7, we're like, well, okay, then is it 8 or 9? And then maybe you find out in the 7th route. Who knows? But I feel like at that point, it's mostly like a lot of things have been spoiled or a lot of things have been weeded out that it doesn't really necessarily matter if we followed a guide at that point. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I renewed my resolve that night. That happened right before going to bed. Mose was waiting for me by the door to my own room. I had mixed feelings about this. In truth, among the 9 here, the most trustworthy one to me was Tomose, and I feel like that's also valid. Now, I still trust him now, but Tomose, what's up? You were avoiding me today, weren't you? That's because ever since talking to Tomose in the morning, I'd avoided looking at him straight or talking to him. I still hadn't come to terms with how I felt. Spacey, no matter what you think of me, it can't be helped because I chose to do it. No matter what the situation, I will protect you and be by your side. I'm one at fault here because I avoided him. And, like, honestly, like, even though you're still overprotective childhood friend character, I don't hate him. I usually do not like the overprotective childhood friend that's like, wow, you're too dumb to function. I need to hold your hand because don't use a knife. You might cut your finger off. He's not like that. He is trying to protect us. And honestly, in this situation, I can't be mad about it. You know what I mean? And he's totally in love with us. And it's like, all right, so you're going to be a little... you're going to be sus about anybody coming into our life. But again, this situation, probably valid. Because I'm probably a little too naive and trusting. I feel like that's not a probably. We are. Like, we want to trust people. We probably are very naive. So far, we've... a little bit, but like, whatever, fine. We're innocent and sweet, sure. I haven't really wanted to punch her in the face for being stupid yet. That'll happen, I'm sure, based on what I've read. But like, him being a little overprotective and because he's in love with us and in the situation we're in, I can't really blame him, so I'm not, like, mad about his attitude yet. And like, so there's a part of me that's like, he's the safest route, to be fair. Most likely, 99% not the producer. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, he'd be the safest route to go down first, to try to shoot for him. But does that make it fun? You know? Like, is it better to go down his route first because, like, he's the safest one, so pretty sure we're good there, and then just get you out of the way? Or, like, we go down somebody else that might be a little more exciting, and then we get you later, and it's like, well, I mean, I knew you were safe, and, like, you know? I'm not really sure. I guess we're going to see how the groups are broken up, so. But Tomose came to me instead, making me feel he was much more mature. Yeah, I think he is. It used to be my role, to be the one protecting you. That's all in the past. It's different now. When we were small, I was a year older. I mean, you're big and you're still a year older. There's no difference. So I always led Tomose by his hand. Cars, dogs, bullies. I thought I protected him from all of that. Just like how I did with my younger siblings. When did this all change? When did he not need me to hold his hand anymore? See, and it's like that. I always held his hand like my younger siblings. You had younger siblings, he's your friend, but you kind of always had the younger sibling mentality for him. And he has always just probably been like, in love with you. Oof. Oof! Or Tomose. So don't do anything dangerous. If something happens, talk to me. I will never betray you. I kind of believe you. But he'd do anything in the drama. I almost said that out loud, but stopped myself. I knew that everything he'd done was to protect me, but if it's the rules, he might do anything I don't want, even if it's kissing or more. But if I said that to him, I'm sure we'd fight again. If that's the case, then all right. We were in we were in an unfamiliar place, surrounded by strangers. I'm so thankful that Tomose is here for me right now. See, the only problem I have with her saying that, like, oh, but in the drama he kissed me even if I didn't want it and he would do more. Okay, that's valid. However, take a step back here, girl. There are like 8 other guys here that would also do the same fucking thing, and you don't know them. That is weirder. You know what I mean? Like being like, Tomose, you're supposed to be my friend, and you kissed me without my consent. Yeah, because otherwise we would have lost points and we could have potentially died. I'm pretty much sure he took advantage of the situation, was like, I have to kiss you. Awesome. Maybe a little bit like, well, we've got to do what they say because we don't know what the outcome's going to be. Now you know, you don't follow along and you lose points and you get down to negative points, you die. So, like, him following the rules and being like, I don't care if you don't like this, I'm gonna fucking kiss you because I don't want us to die. Valid. We need to get on board with that and be like, I might not want to do this, but I gotta. And that's scary as shit considering, like, where this could go if it wanted to really go, like, in a normal, like, R-rated movie. Oh god, oh no, all sorts of horrible situations where you have to stab someone, you have to have sex with someone. I doubt they're gonna go that far in this game, but we're gonna have to kiss people, and we might not want to do that. And still, that's a little, like, wrong, right? But we can't really be mad at him for that when everybody else would be in the same situation and would do it. You know what I mean? A stranger is going to kiss you whether you like it or not. Your best friend did it. And I feel like maybe that's where it seems more like a violation. You're like, oh, you're supposed to be my friend, and then you kissed me. And it's like, yeah, but he's trying to protect you and himself. And it's kind of valid. Like, we're going to have to get past that girl because, like, he ain't the only one that's going to do that. So she's not wrong for being like, this is fucked up. But it's not Tomose's fault it's fucked up. You know what I mean? So right now, I don't want to argue with Tomose. I looked up and smiled at Tomose. It was to thank him for caring. And that's the thing, all she has to be is like, look, the kiss thing was awkward, but I understand why you did it. It still just feels really awkward for me, and I'm sure if I have to do that with other people in scenes, I'm going to feel just as awkward around them, so just bear with me here. I'll consult you if anything happens. Besides, I want to go home as soon as possible. And you can't take a bath here, so it's kind of terrible. A bath? If you ask the bouncer guy, you'll get that virtual bath. I know that, but I still want to take a real bath. I think it's more soothing that way. And that's the thing, too, is like, you don't need to bathe. Yeah, but sometimes you just want that relaxation. But I guess we'll have to be patient for now. That was just me wanting to complain. Well, good night. See you tomorrow. Yeah, good night. I told myself that we'd work on this again tomorrow as I retired to my room. Like, I'm kind of more curious to go down other routes. Oh! Okay, they're in the living room. They're in the library. They're in the park. Oh my god. Is this the way the groupings are going to be? Is this the way the groups are? My tiny bird is like going ballistic. Tiny bird screaming. Here it goes. Scream. Hi, tiny bird. We hear you. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, 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 oh. Why does everyone else have like a shadow, like a, you know what I mean? Like their colored shadow? Oh, Iochi's is like black. I was like, why does Iochi not have a shadow? Black. That seems shady. You could have gone with purple. Unless it's supposed to be like a dark purple, it looks black. But you know what I mean? Like, you got like the light purple, the turquoise, the blue. You got white. That's bland. Green, and is yours black? It should be purple. You also have a blue. You have a lot of blues. Somebody could have been a little more purple or some shit. Where's the pink one? Come on. I don't know what to do. Honestly, aside from Ibana not being in here, I kind of like this grouping myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't really dislike anybody so far. Obviously, to me, like Haiji and Akase are like kind of my least favorites just because they have like the sweet baby faces, and I'm not into that. Ibana is my favorite because he's got glasses, but these three are the ones that intrigue me the most. Like, out of all of them. You know what I mean? I would put Ibana in this group. And like I would say Ibana over Dazai at the moment, but like top 4, yeah, definitely. You know. I think let's go to the library. I'm going to the library, bitch. I don't know what this means. I went to the library to try and research more about the dramas, and there I found Dazai and Chigasaki reading books. Hey Dazai, what are you reading? Oh, that's you, Saina. Nothing in particular. I'm just looking around. Oh, really? Got so much stuff here, though. Dazai and I were doing some research until just before you arrived. We were gathering anything that seemed useful, and we ended up with this whole huge pile. Oh, I get it now. Yeah, we did quite a lot of research and lost track of time. But we're a bit tired, so we're taking a break now. I do think Chigasaki's adorable. If this is the way the groups are, I wonder if they're going to be different and like, but if these are the way the groups are, then it's like, okay. Out of this group, Iochi's the most sus. You know what I mean? But then wherever Ibana is, it's like, you're the most... They're all very sus right now. But I still like them all, kind of. Oh, and this is quite the party. Hello, Iochi. I only just arrived now. Are you here to do research too? I was here to look for something. I might find some good reference materials about the dramas here, after all. I also came here to research the dramas. I was hoping to find some sort of clue, no matter how small it might be. I see. Well, if I do find anything, I'll be sure to share. I appreciate it. Speaking of which, I was searching for a book with Dazai the other day. As my thoughts wandered, my gaze drifted toward Dazai. Okay, I don't know, I clicked that, but I feel like it just jerked quickly. Earlier, Dazai said he wasn't doing anything, but now he's staring at that book intently. Suspicious. I can't see the cover, but I think that's some kind of animal encyclopedia. Chigasaki must have caught me staring because he then called out to me. Speaking of which, we haven't seen any around. Huh? Animals. I noticed that there aren't any around here. And that's true. I've not seen a single cat or bird. I see birds everywhere. Right? That was my bird-looking microphone. Well, I don't see anyone walking their dogs either. And that's not all. I haven't seen fish or even insects around. Maybe there aren't any animals here. I don't know about that. I mean, this world so closely resembles our own that it seems odd to omit such a huge aspect. See? But you notice how he phrased that? It seems odd to omit. Omit? In the creation of this fake virtual world? Have you caught on that it's virtual and haven't told anyone? Or you know that because you're the producer? I'm just saying. It's difficult to come to any conclusions right now. But speaking of animals, cats. Yoichi pats Dazai on the back with a grin. What about cats? Sorry, did I surprise you? I was just thinking about how similar you are to a cat, Dazai. Now that you mention it, he does feel a bit like it. Okay, that's it. Dazai's the most sus because he's actually a cat controlling a human avatar in a virtual game. He's some kind of like super intelligent cat, and he just wants to be loved and he wants to be human. And oh my god, we're like, this is My Secret Pets now. This is every pet dating simulator you didn't know what was happening. Is this Catboy Paradise too? Could you fucking imagine? Oh my god. You know in all those other games like Dandelion and like whatever, where it's like, oh my god, your pets come to life and they're hot. Well, they're already alive, but you know what I mean? They all of a sudden magically turn into hot boys and you're like, this is weird. You know? So like, you know, there's always some kind of, like Catboy Paradise, but they were like cat people. So like, fine. And like Hustle Cat was like people that were cursed to turn into cats at night. But like, any game where it's like people and animals, they're like animals turn into people or whatever. But this is like everybody's in on it, and they're actually all just animals playing full in virtual reality because they just want to live out being a human. Like, come on. If there was a virtual reality game that was so real like this that you could be like, I could just walk around and pretend I was a cat. There are video games. What's Stray, right? The one where you're pretending you're a cat? You're running around as a cat? Could you imagine if there was a virtual reality game where you were like, I can just be cat? You don't think people would buy that and just be cat? Fuck yeah, we would. So, like, there were, like, sentient cats that were, like, I mean, cats are sentient, but you know what I meant. Like, at human intelligence level, where they're like, huh, I can go into the virtual world and be a person. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, and it's the future, so who knows? Maybe a cat got their hand on a bangle by accident, and then they were like, and then it just imbued me with, like, human intelligence, and now I can talk and think like a person. That would be probably the dumbest fucking thing, but it'd be hilarious. I don't think this game is quite that fluffy, like literally and figuratively, but now it's funny. Dazai's actually a cat. All right, he's the most sus. He's a cat. I don't think I'm cat-like at all. See, he's covering for it because he's absolutely a cat, pretending to be a human. Meow meow. Don't be angry, kitty Dazai. He said meow meow. Stop it. Kitty, you're the kind of cat that acts aloof, but really you want rubs and attention, aren't you? Hey! There are cats like that. We've figured out Dazai's secret. I would laugh my ass off, though, if they, like, were like, see, we're joking around, but, like, Dazai's actually a cat. Everybody else is fine. And then, like, you know, everybody else, there's the producer, there's whatever the other secret character that has a secret, whatever. I'm thinking, like, say the locked characters all have, like, some kind of, like, kind of thing, and Dazai is one of the locked characters, and it's because he's actually a cat. There's the producer, there's Cat Dazai, and then there's somebody else that's got some other kind of, like, fucking secret. Speaking of cats, Gyobu acts like one, too. See? There you go! There's several cat people in the Oh my god. It's catspiracy. Yes, he's fickle and mysterious. No one really knows what he's thinking. That kind of cat. Eiji feels like a penguin to me. I would laugh so hard if this virtual reality was just like, we created this and all of these guys are really just animals that we picked up at the zoo or some shit. You didn't think you were doing like I'm dating my pet simulator, and yet we are, and that's the twist. I'm dead. Unsina, you're probably like a rabbit. Huh? Yeah, Sina does feel like a cute little animal. Really? A bit embarrassing, but I appreciate it. Iochi would be a leopard, I feel. A leopard? I like it. And then Chikasaki, you might be a dog. A dog? I think Futami is the one who's more like a dog. That's true. Futami is big, so he'd be one of the bigger breeds. If he's a dog, then so's Banjo. He's your guard dog, Sena. Tomose. Anyone who looked at you two would think so. But there's one more person that's like a dog. Huh? Who? Akase. That's true. Akase has a strong sense of justice, so he's like a police dog in the children's stories. Also, he's the kind that run at full speed in the snow. Then what about Abana? He's standoffish and aloof like a cat. That could also be very bird-like. He's just an angry parrot. Let's see. Ibana is like... I guess he's sort of like a dog. But you could say he's cat-like, too. I like the fact that Haiji's the only fucking bird here. How about a hedgehog? Whenever someone gets too close, he gets threatened and his hair stands up on its ends. I find that adorable, though. Even in this situation, he does his best to put on airs. If Abana heard you say that, I think he'd never acknowledge you again. While we were talking up a storm, I remembered an important member of the family. If we're talking about animals, I can't help but think of Kyo. I said, Kyo was a robot, but was still a member of the family. I miss my family. Dana, all right. Like, see, you're so sweet and sensitive. You noticed I was, like, something was wrong with me, so you're probably sus. Huh? Oh, it's just that you suddenly look so depressed. Sorry, I was just thinking about the past. I sort of got homesick and started to miss my family. Sina, I knew that I shouldn't be worrying everyone unnecessarily like this, but these worries had silently accumulated in my heart. If I work hard at the dramas, I can go back. I thought I understood that, but possible I don't want to do the dramas. But then, if you don't want to do the dramas, then you'll have to find the producer, says the man reading my mind, Mr. Producer Man. Yeah, that's right. Finding the producer means that we have to call out a member of our team. Whichever way you go, it's a tough road. The producer planning by making us do these dramas. What do you think, Chigasaki? What do you think, Iochi? What do you think, Dazai? Oh! Oh! No! Oh! I feel like these are the teams. You know what I mean? The way they're broken up. But it's weird because it's like, oof. Maybe I shouldn't have gone down my favorite group first. Well, that's okay. Because if we're stuck with these guys, well, we're not stuck yet. But I mean, like, if we end up with these three, we just end up down whoever's route. But it's like, ooh. Ooh. It's so hard because it's like, I kind of like all of them. And I almost wish it was like, I really feel like I should not have come to the library. I should have gone to wherever Abana was and then specifically spoke to him. But I like this pet conversation that we had. Pet conversation, the animal conversation. Ooh, who do we talk to? This is going to get us some points for that person, possibly. Honestly, I really like Chigasaki and Iochi. They're kind of, I think, my top two. Out of these three, they're my top two. I do like Dazai, don't get me wrong. But I think Chigasaki, Iochi, and Abana are my top three, and then Dazai would kind of be after that. So I think I'm going to ask Dazai because I don't necessarily know if I want to go down a favorite boys route. Well. No, you know what? I want to ask Iochi what they think. Sorry. What do you think, Iochi? I don't know yet, but whatever the purpose may be, we have to consider the scale of things they're doing. I'm sure there's a purpose, but we don't have enough information to discern what that is just yet. Besides, I really like looking at Ichi. If we could just figure out what the producer's goal was, we could make a plan to do something about it. Right. But we can't get too caught up in it and lose track of everything else. So how about we think about what we can do now? Right. I think you're right, Iochi. In the end, we can't know the real question we're made. Oh, we can't know what the real reason we're made to act in these dramas is. So for now, all we can do is focus on getting back home safely. Yeah. Also, let's keep that whole talk about the animals a secret amongst those of us here. Really, I think some of them would get violent if they heard it. I wonder who you're referring to. Chigasaki, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And then this is our little secret. Our little secret. It makes me happy to hear that we're just a little bit closer. I thought it was nice to have secrets like this. I couldn't help but smile. And then we all went back to doing research. Of course, the four of us all worked together. Oh, we get to go see everyone! Oh, guys, but we gotta end this part here. Okay, let's go. I want to go to the park next, because I want to talk to Abana. Okay, but I'm going to go to the park, and then we will... I like this that we actually get to go to all. I thought it was like, pick one, but no. Cool. So, we're going to go here. I didn't know if I could save on that screen. I figure I probably could, but whatever. We'll go to the park. We will start here in the next part. Everything seemed to be fine this last half hour, so I think our problems are okay. So I think the next part and everything after that, we should be fine. Shouldn't have any issues with it not syncing up. But again, pardon the first half of this part if it's completely out of whack, or a little out, depending on how out of whack it is, depending on if I forget to update it, or, if I do, but it's still probably gonna be out of whack. I don't think I'm gonna be able to fix it fully, so whatever. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.